I feel like it gave me everything that I wanted and things that I hadn't even thought that I might need. Were in there. Like there's the baby steps version, but then it also goes really deep in things that feel like I went through everything, but maybe I was like, that's so far beyond me. Super robust without feeling like a fire hose of information. Everything is well compartmentalized, so you can go through and find the pieces that are working for you.
Hello, Sage. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to share your story with my audience. Before we dive in, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what type of business you have? And then we'll dive into some of the questions that I have for you.
Sure, Megan. My name is Sage Roundtree, and you'll think it's not my real name, but it is when you hear that I'm a yoga teacher. My parents were very prescient. It was the 70s and they were kind of cool, so they gave me the name Sage. Anyway, I teach yoga, but I specifically help yoga teachers coming out of their original yoga teacher training, help them figure out what's next for them. Because while the original yoga teacher training is always really fun for folks and we learn a ton, sometimes we're left with more questions than answers at the end. So I then scoop them up and give them mentorship and maybe further training. I have a lot of books, 13 books. I have a lot of online courses, and I own a yoga studio here in North Carolina where I am.
Amazing. You do all the things. And it's so funny. There was this incredible moment where we found, you found your way into my world. And I don't know, I'm not in the yoga world, really. I used to go to yoga classes, but I'm not a yoga teacher. And we were on a call together, and another person on the call was like, wait, are you Sage? Sage, my daughter's a yoga teacher. She has your books. And it was like a funny moment of worlds colliding, right? Where it was really cool to have someone, you guys are in the group. And I think what is common though, is this idea of okay, so you're a business owner, you have these multifacets to your business. Why were you drawn to marketing it on Pinterest? Where did Pinterest come into your world as a yoga teacher, as someone who's a thought leader in the training space? Why were you drawn to Pinterest?
Well, it was because of Canadians, strangely. You don't know this.
Okay.
There's a woman in my writing group who is in Winnipeg, and I was telling her how I had an idea for yoga teacher affirmation cards that I'm doing digitally right now and eventually might make into a physical card. And she said, oh, that kind of stuff goes great on Pinterest. So I started thinking I need to get into Pinterest, and I was on a call with Allie Mason, who's another Canadian, and she said, oh, well, then you have to go to Megan. She's the person for Pinterest. Because I was trying to get some advice from Allie, and she said, just talk to Megan. And that's how I came to you. And once I started to understand how peaceful and relaxing Pinterest can be versus the more, flare out forms of social media content that many of us get in this cycle of obsessing over. And it really complemented some work I was doing for SEO. So I thought, that's cool. I want to learn more about this.
Right. That's the dream team, SEO and Pinterest. There's so many things that you said. You just said the word and when you were saying it, I envisioned a firework, which is hilarious because last week I was giving a workshop to a group of very well-established entrepreneurs. And I said, the best way for me to position Pinterest is that a lot of other social media is like a firework. It's wow. And we enjoy it for 7 seconds. And then it just goes and dies and it's one-time use and it doesn't necessarily live on. Whereas Pinterest is this flywheel that can operate for you. And it starts out a little bit slower. And I have to say, I feel like it perfectly aligns also with your world of this sort of controlled, calm, focusing on, starting slowly, being gentle with our bodies. It just aligns so beautifully. So what do you think now Allie recommended me, and I really appreciate that. Before you found me and Pin Potential, did you try anything on Pinterest? Were you sort of experimenting? What did it look like before you joined the course?
I had not touched it since probably 2008 or so. And I only realized that when I was yes, I did your challenge. And I was I'm going to go in. And then I realized, I already have a Pinterest account. And I'm using,
wait a second.
Yeah, I'm using my daughter as my VA. And she's been fantastic on it. She's like, whoa, Mom, you have 89 followers. That's huge.
She's your biggest cheerleader. I love it.
I didn't even remember using it, and I remember being confused by it back in the day, but I'm sure that it's a completely different iteration of
Yeah.
the platform than I would have been seeing back in that day. But I was pretty much starting from zero.
Okay, awesome. And you mentioned the challenge. So you were on a call chatting with a friend that you trusted. They recommended me. Then you heard about my free Pinterest challenge. You signed up for that. You did that. And then you decided to say yes to the course.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I'd love to hear that. It's funny, like I'm about to share a challenge, and every time I run a challenge, like that is my dream, right? That if someone needs help with Pinterest, they hear about me or they find me in some way, and that really they come to the challenge. And again, and I hope that was your experience, that it's sort of like you get to know who I am and you decide, like, it's great that Ali recommended me, but you in your own way also needed to make sure that I was the right person for you. Question. Did you have any hesitation? So you took the challenge, you knew you needed help with Pinterest. Did you have any hesitations about joining the course or joining Pin Potential?
A little, because I felt like I was already overextended. I'd been in this very big expansion period of coming up with a lot of ideas. You know, we kind of hit these purple patches sometimes. It's like, wow, I got all these cool ideas. And it's like, do I really need to do another group program? Do I really need to do another training? Do I really need to commit to another platform? So those were all concerns that I had. And I feel like the challenge allayed most of them. I remember, like, I was on a walk when, like, your cart opened and I was looking at the bonuses and I was like, fine. Yes.
I kind of hate that, right? I love that you were out walking, but like, okay, yeah, I need this. Do you think that those bonuses are what helped decide for you to take the leap, or like, yeah, it was? Okay, so was it the one-to-one call?
It was the one-to-one, which was really helpful. But what I found was most useful inside of Pin Potential proper was apart from the curriculum, which is fantastic, and you had just completely redone it, I think, right before I came in. And I love the AI usage as well. But I feel like the group calls were so good. And there were some quote unquote random, like tangential folks that you would bring in that I just got such huge value from. And although it wasn't even specifically about Pinterest, it was certainly about maximizing your presence online in a really peaceful, like slow cooking kind of way.
Yeah, well, and that's my goal, right? Is like you come for Pinterest, but Pinterest is part of your content ecosystem. So, even actually, I want to take a step back. You mentioned, thinking like, do I need another course? Do I need another platform? Should I join another program? And I think we're all like that. Like, we as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we all have a lot going on in our lives. Whether you have a family or family members that really need you, whether you're going on vacation, it's sort of like, do I have the capacity? What would you like thinking about that and then deciding to jump in? Did you feel like you were able, it didn't detract from other things going on, even if you were busy? Was it complementary to what else you had going on in your business?
Definitely, because I think you taught us very well that, like, we're just going to do what we can with what we have at this moment. And if we're in a period where we feel like we're limited in time resources or, creative resources, that's okay. We're just going to kind of keep plugging away. But I feel like, as opposed to some of those flare out platforms, Pinterest is fine with you taking it at your own pace, which
100%.
Makes it really forgiving and lovely.
It's so ironic, right? Like, even when you're speaking, I'm like, yeah, that's me too, right? Like, sometimes I'll see something and I'm always investing in myself so I can be, one, to run my business more efficiently, to continue to reach new people and strengthen my core knowledge. But then I'll think, like, do I have the capacity for this right now? What does that look like? Does it need me? And so we're always looking to work smarter, not necessarily put more on our plates. And so it really did complement the other things that you had happening. What would you say to somebody who was unsure about signing up for Pin Potential? Like, if they were like you, sort of like in that place, they knew they wanted help, they wanted the ability to sort of connect the dots, but they weren't sure, or they were feeling a little bit hesitant.
I felt like it was huge value. I remember doing some kind of offboarding at the end, and I was like, Megan, you got to charge double for this. There was
I screenshot that. Yeah.
You get big bang for your buck inside. What I especially liked is it was a really nice balance of the asynchronous content that is so robust and that you can go through in your own time. But also you have a little accountability to the group and these calls happening, And y'all, Megan is so giving of her time on those group calls. Anybody who has questions will get them answered on those calls, even if it takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So it's almost like you get a little element of this done with you in addition to the done by you learning that you'll be doing on your own, moving asynchronously through the content.
With you sharing that, and other people have also shared, you have such an elegant, beautiful way of sharing that. And I think it's like, I've always been like that. Like as a person, I know that that's how I learn best. It's like, I want to come into a program with an expert, have access to the materials to be like, check, check, check. Oh, I'm missing that. And then to say, hey, do I have this? Or could you give me some feedback about my unique business? And I think that support has always been there, but I maybe haven't been loud enough. I haven't shared enough how much, everyone comes in at different places in their journey and needs different types of support. And it's there for you depending on your learning needs or your accessibility needs or how busy you are, that you can take advantage as much as you like, or you could listen to the replays while you're on a long walk or out doing yoga in the park. There's so many options. What would you say was your favorite part of the course, or what's something that kind of stood out to you if you had to isolate one thing?
I think I already said it was these unexpected tangential pieces of learning that just helped to kind of crystallize and solidify everything together for me. And just you as a teacher, I use this quote a lot when I'm talking about yoga teachers, but I think that you embody it as well. There was a journalist at the turn of the last century who said the role of the journalist is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And I think this is also the role of a pastor and a teacher, and a yoga teacher, a Pinterest teacher, is to meet people where they are. And if they're feeling overwhelmed and dysregulated about Pinterest, you're really calm with them. And if they're feeling complacent and need to get poked a little bit, you're able to do that in a way that doesn't read as like super tough love, but is just like, hey, I'm here to help you be great. And getting to witness that is always really gratifying for me as a teacher, to see somebody else like, having the finesse and the skill to meet people where they are. So I think whether somebody is totally new and like just building a website or creating an online business, or has been having an online business for over a decade like I have, that there's room for everybody inside Pin Potential. And there's room for them all to move at their own pace too.
And we've always had a little bit of everything, right? We do attract, and it's like the commonality is people would like help and guidance. And I think like I've been very, very intentional. And again, it's like music to my ears when someone says like, hey, I see what you're doing, right? Because it has been so intentional to be like, when I take courses or programs or digital products, what have I loved? What do I think could be improved? Even from a human perspective, I want people to feel like they're in a place where it's safe to say, hey, I need help, or I fell behind, and there's no shame, right? Like it's sort of one of those things that we do have to have a little bit of tough love, but it can be done in a way where we are respecting that different people have different capacities. On that note, when, we talked a little bit about being a teacher or being in other programs or courses, was there anything that made the way that Pin Potential was set up as a digital product or as a course? I know there's so much, like people are very jaded, right? It's like, I bought this and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or I thought I was coming into a program and I don't really think Megan is going to answer my questions, or it might be somebody else. When you compare Pin Potential to other courses or digital products you maybe have invested in, do you feel like it was any different?
I feel like it gave me everything that I wanted and things that I hadn't even thought that I might need. In there. Like there's the baby steps version, but then it also goes really deep in things that feel like I went through everything, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I was like, that's so far beyond me. It's like special topics in, agency and stuff like that. That I was like, all right, that's nice to know that it exists. But no, it's super robust without feeling like a fire hose of information. Everything is well compartmentalized, so you can go through and find the pieces that are working for you.
Amazing. And that's the way, like, having lifetime access, you can go back when you're at a different place. If you want to go back and read more about Pinterest ads or about something that is like on your to-do list or wish list, but you don't have capacity for. Do you think in terms of specific results or anything that feels measurable, you got your account set up, you have your daughter helping you, do you have anything that you're like, I started here and I was able to do these things or get these results with the help of the course?
I'm definitely seeing now that you had a call like one of these little random things where I'm
Yeah.
like, what? UTM links, that's something I should be using so that I can
Yeah.
track the source of my traffic. I mean, just like having somebody say that and hearing it and immediately implementing it was probably worth what I paid for Pin Potential. And that really wasn't
Awesome.
even Pinterest
No,
specific.
that was
You know
just
what I
an
mean?
extra. That was a wow your socks
Yeah.
off
But
extra.
now that I
Yeah.
have my UTM parameters in place, I can see, oh, there is traffic coming from Pinterest. And it's kind of coming from all over the place on Pinterest. It's not the beautiful graphics that my daughter Vivian has made for me. It's like, oh, just some random stuff that I threw up there early
Yeah.
on is already paying off. And it's not, I say already, but it's stuff from a while ago. So maybe it isn't
Yeah.
already. Maybe it's like, oh, this is going to be the slow
Well,
burn.
now you're tracking and knowing that even
Yeah.
those like wasn't perfect, wasn't, but you know what? I bet it's valuable, it's practical, it's helpful, and that's what pinners care about. They want just, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And of course, branded gorgeous graphics are great too, but I always see them as like an extra. So do you feel like you feel more confident about Pinterest? You feel like you understand how it's different than other marketing channels for you as a business owner?
Yes, absolutely. And you've made that clear even just in the free challenge. I think I got a
Yeah.
pretty good grip on where it fits in the content ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. That's always like, my goal also too is that the challenge is like this, like you dip your toe into what it's going to be like. And I even have people say to me, like, I can't believe that you do more. And like, it's the tip of the iceberg. Like, of course I'm not going to I save my best bits for students with complimentary teachings, with our coaching support, with the AI assistants to help you get all those kind of like drudge tasks done very, very quickly. Well, Sage, thank you. I think, you've just shared such a beautiful sort of from a student perspective what it's like to be in Pin Potential. And I hope that if someone's watching this and thinking like they were on the edge or really not sure if Pin Potential would be a great fit for them, that this helps them to feel like they have enough information. I'm really trying to get better about sharing. I realize I've had such like closed shut little doors to my little village for so long that I've really wanted to share a little bit more with what happens behind those closed doors, that there's these connections that are made, these extras that will sort of surprise and delight you as a business owner, whether you're a beginner or more advanced. And so I really appreciate it. Now, if people want to follow up with you and learn more about your business, because that is, important too, can you let everyone know where they can find you and how they can learn with you?
I am Sage Roundtree with no letter D, so it's sageroundtree.com, pinterest.com/Sage Roundtree, Instagram, Threads,
All the
YouTube,
places.
all at Sage Roundtree with no letter D. Yeah.
Yeah, and even SEO, because like you said, I know you're doubling down on your SEO and Pinterest as well, which go hand in hand. Well, thank you again for sharing your words, your story, and just your experience in Pin Potential. This literally as an educator, like you couldn't ask for more dreamy student. I know that people are going to love hearing your story.
Thanks for having me, Megan.